Namaste, my name is Shailaja and I welcome you all to the Kundalini Guide channel. Today I'll be talking about the kinds of awakenings a person can experience, many different kinds that are there. Then the difference between Kundalini stirring and a full-blown Kundalini awakening. And another interesting topic is how life finds its way from a mineral form into a human form on earth. What is an awakening? An awakening happens when a person realizes that he is more than the physical body. There is more to him. And when he sees oneness, that is, when he realizes that he is connected to others, he is not separate from others around him. He is in some way connected to the plants, the animals, the environment, every person who is there in his life, and even the collective at large. He is connected to everything and everybody. When he realizes this, you can say that he has undergone an awakening. So, awakenings can be of many types. Now, the kind of awakening a person experiences can depend on the soul maturation, how mature the soul is, and the karmic baggage the soul carries. But when a soul is very highly evolved or very mature, then the karmic baggage will get burnt up once the Kundalini awakens. So the amount of karmic baggage cannot become an hindrance when the soul is mature enough to take the leap into the next level of evolution. When a person is just shallow and materialistic in nature, they do not explore the deep range of emotions or thoughts that happen in their mind because they are not very mature in the soul evolution process. There is still time for it. But when a person's soul is mature enough, then they will experience and explore the various emotions. The range is larger, wider, and they have the mindset or they have the thinking faculties to ask the right questions that put them onto the path of spiritual transformation. So, it is the second category of people who generally experience different types of awakening. Spiritual awakenings are subjective experiences, and these can be triggered from a lot of events that happen outside of us, mostly negative events, where there's sudden loss or death of a loved one. Person's life situations may change drastically, where he loses his job, his finances, his home, he loses his family, friend, he may lose his freedom, safety, or they might experience a lot of fear. Where generally, when people have paranormal experiences, then they realize that there is more to life than just the physical body. Even that can change the way they look at life. And a lot of trauma, abuse, and a lot of chronic health conditions where the person has experienced a lot of pain, when all these negative events that happen in our life, if they can be channeled, the energy, the negative energy that comes from it in the form of anger or fear, if it can be channeled correctly, then we can use this negative emotion or this negative energy to widen the container of our soul. So, what happens here is this negative emotion, when processes through us, it brings about a positive change in our life. After a negative experience, a person, when he knows how uses or processes the negative material correctly, he can become a more empathetic, a more kinder person. So that way he becomes more grounded and more peaceful in life. Next is drugs and LSDs. These are very potent. They can change the way a person sees life overnight. So when somebody experiences altered states of consciousness while they're on some drug trip, they now know, they come back with more information. They know that what they perceive with the physical eyes is very small segment of the total spectrum of what the universe can offer. Some, as an inner calling, get attracted to various spiritual practices like chanting of mantras, meditation, breathing exercises, yoga, Tai Chi, selfless service, Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga. There are many different paths. So, something within them, they find it very attractive. They get attracted to that particular practice because these people in general are higher in vibration. If this kind of a person can receive blessings or grace or Shakti path from a genuine Guru, it can catapult the spiritual transformation to a next level. Till now, I've been talking about spiritual awakenings, but Kundalini awakenings are of different quality because they're very highly transformative process where the person's body, mind, soul, everything about him is changing. And this change happens maybe within 1 or 2 lifetimes. So a major transformational change happening over 1 or 2 or few lifetimes is Kundalini awakening. And once a person is on the path of Kundalini awakening and the path reaches its culmination, he creates the light body. So he is now out of the cycle of life and death. Here I would like to discuss the difference between a Kundalini stirring and a full Kundalini awakening. Nowadays, many are into a lot of practices, meditative practices, etc. So, because of that, they are opening up their bodies to different kinds of spiritual experiences. They see visions, they see different colors while they're meditating, they hear high pitched noises, they experience kriyas, they even experience certain ailments because of the blockages, uh, the nadi system, and they can feel the vayus or the prana moving up in their body. So all these things are experienced even in a Kundalini stirring and even in a full Kundalini awakening. Then what is the difference between these two? In an average normal person who's caught up in the daily mundane life, the pranic force, the vital force flows top down in his body. But when they're into spiritual practices, or because of Kundalini awakening, or because the soul is mature enough, or for some other reason also, the pranic forces reverses and it starts moving bottom up. So this flow of pranic force where it is moving bottom up brings about the spiritual transformation in the body. Now, if you look at the picture closely here, you can see that I have drawn a line in the center and few arrows here and there. If you look at the center blue line that I've drawn, this line moves through all the chakras. It starts at the base of the spine, ends at the Sahasrara here, and it is moving through all the chakras. So, this is the central Sushumna Nadi. And when the pranic force that reverses, if it moves, it has to move into this Sushumna channel and it has to move up. It has to untie all the knots in the channel and it has to move unhindered and it has to culminate at the Sahasrara here. But if the pranic force that is reversed does not move into the central Sushumna channel, rather it moves sideways. You can see these red lines that I've drawn on the sideways, the arrows that move up. So this is also the pranic force moving up in the body, but it has not entered the central Sushumna channel. It is moving into the other areas of the body. And even the head, it is moving in these areas. So when that happens, you will call this as Kundalini stirring. Because a Kundalini stirring, you will feel the pranic force moving up in your body. But until unless this pranic force is made to flow into the Sushumna channel, this will not lead to a full Kundalini awakening. This energy will clear up the blocks that are there in the body. And after clearing up all the blocks, energy might at the most go to the Agya chakra. Now, because of this, the person might develop certain psychic powers also. And when he, for example, I'll show you this slide. Look at the slide. Here you can see the pranic force moves into the head, right? You can see a lot of petals. This is Sahasrara chakra. The crown chakra has many petals, 1,000 petals. Now, each of the petal you see here is corresponding to the petal on which you click on the right hand side, you can see many chakras here, all the chakras. So all the chakras also have petals. So every petal on the chakra here corresponds with the petal that is there in the sahasrara. That is, if you activate a chakra in a petal in the sahasrara, the corresponding petal in any one of these chakras which is there, say for example, I activate a petal, a blue petal, then a blue petal which is there in the Vishuddhi chakra, that will get activated. And every petal, it has a particular psychic power, and the person can harness that psychic power. So even in Kundalini stirrings, the person will be able to harness the psychic powers related to that particular petal or that particular chakra, but that will not culminate in a total Kundalini awakening. Now, when the person, so there are many such people who get to see auras, or they become writers, they become very powerful leaders, very good orators or artists. They're able to compose music, and some become wonderful painters. So this kind of psychic powers, they can there are variety of psychic powers, so they can harness any of these psychic powers. But what happens is, in the longer run, when they start harnessing these psychic powers, they lose their vitality, they lose their pranic vitality. And because of that, the pranic force which was trying to move up and clear up the nadi system, even if it was outside the sushumna, that force loses its energy and it again falls down into the base chakra. So this is the drawback of harnessing psychic powers prematurely. In a full Kundalini rising through Sushumna, the experiences are totally of a different quality. A person might meet gurus, otherworldly gurus, divine beings, higher vibrational entities. Traumas of this life and past lifetimes will get totally healed. Karmic baggage is totally removed. The person will develop a lot of psychic powers which can be of permanent in nature. They will experience states of intense bliss and samadhi. They can experience ego dissolution. And these people have their understanding about themselves and the world around them is totally widened, and it is now totally different. So they can understand the workings of the mind. They know how the mind controls a person, his thoughts, his behaviors. So they can see through that, and they can see through the intentions and the thoughts and motives of others around them. They have this sense of equanimity, a very neutral, peaceful state, and they have a sense of higher mission, a higher purpose in life, and they experience the self. So the quality of the awakening is at a totally different level compared to a normal Kundalini rising or Kundalini stirring. I'm using the word risings and stirrings interchangeably because few experience it as stirrings, and for few it is more like a rising, but it is not happening in the central channel. Say this piece of paper is the Brahman, that is the material from which the conscious and unconscious aspects of this universe has emerged. So initially, say it is like this paper, right? So when the creation started, say it tore into two polarities, the masculine polarity and the feminine polarity. Now, the feminine polarity further divided itself, right? And the feminine polarity, it kept on dividing itself into many worlds, many realities, many different types of beings, plants, animals, everything you see in this universe which is of physical in a nature on earth, everything is from the divine feminine principle. So say the canvas on which the creation is happening or it is moving is the divine masculine energy. So everything that you see in the universe at every level, all planes, astral, causal, physical, lower astral, everything, every being that you see, they all come from the same source, whether they are good, bad, evil, or angelic. So everything, the source is one. It is only when the being is cut away from the light or it devolves to a lower vibratory state, then it is cut off from the truth and it becomes more demonic or evil in nature. But once the vibrational level increases, then the evolution speeds up, and the same demonic soul or an evil soul, when it raises its vibration, it becomes an angelic being. So the difference is only the vibration. Here I attempt to explain how life progresses on earth and how soul evolution starts on earth. Paramahamsa Yogananda once talked about his past life, where he said he was a diamond in one of his past lives. So life starts at the mineral level, rocks, soil, all the minerals which you see, they also have consciousness. They also have vibration, but this is very, very low quality in nature. And it takes many years, many thousands, and you can say millions of years for the soul to develop. So when it develops, it moves, it comes into contact, the mineral comes into contact with the next level, which is the plant level. This is like, and you must have heard about it in the botany class, where the algae and fungi work together and they dissolve rocks. And this is one of the first primitive forms of life which has evolved, it is higher than the consciousness of a rock. These lichens later on they developed into the plant reality. And further evolution of this, animals emerge. So as per Paramahamsa Yogananda, it takes about 5 to 8 million lives for a mineral to evolve and to become a human being. And it takes another 5 to 8 million lifetimes for a human being to evolve from the lower animalic nature into a higher divine being. Now, why does this take that long? Below the human level, that is in the animal stage, animal, plant, and the lower minerals levels, the evolution happens automatically. Plants and animals follow the laws of nature, and animals they act on their instincts. So they do not take on any karma. For that reason, till this level, the evolutionary process goes on automatically. But once the human level is reached, so once the animal comes into contact with the next higher level of reality, that is the human reality, it can happen that when an animal is taken on as a pet, for example as a dog or a cat or any animal that comes into contact with human, they are now learning from humans. They learn emotions. They learn how humans behave. They're seeing it. So this is more like a preparation for their next lifetime. Next comes the human reality. Once the human reality or the human incarnation starts, then from here karma starts. Initially, the soul may not have karma because it is a new soul and it is still inexperienced. It has to experience life. So things come easily to this new soul. But because it is a new soul, it has just evolved from the animalistic nature. The person at this level will display a lot of animalistic tendencies, a lot. They can experience a lot of emotion, negative emotions like anger, fear, jealousy. They're very territorial. They can attack, they can fight, they can be cruel, very cruel in nature because the division is very high here. It is, they see themselves as a totally different entity, disconnected from everything around them, disconnected from their own family members. So they can even hurt their own family members. So a lot of those animal traits are still present in them because they have still not learned the human side. They do not understand empathy, or they do not understand what love is or selfless service. All these things are beyond their comprehension. It will take them many, many lifetimes uh, of learning all these positive attributes of human uh, nature or the human reality. And as per Paramahamsa Yogananda, he says it takes about 5 to 8 million lifetimes more as a human to evolve from the early human state to the to reaching a divine human state. The reason why it takes this long is because now the person has the ability to think. So his decisions have consequences and he is bound by karma. And when he creates karma, he gets caught up in these loops of karma. And that keeps on the drama of life going on until unless he reaches a state of maturation where he is no longer interested in the external drama that happens in life. He wants to move away from it and he wants to focus on inner spiritual growth. So when the moment he starts looking within, the moment he starts displaying higher uh, human qualities, and he is able to forgive his past, and he is able to learn from his mistakes, when he reaches a higher state of thinking process and even in behavioral process is much superior, then he reaches the level where now he is ripe for the spiritual maturation to happen. So for all this to happen, it can take anything to 5 to 8 million lifetimes. The next reality is the astral reality. We experience astral reality in the states of dream or when we are astral traveling. The right from the mineral reality to the human reality, all these realities participate in the dream. That is, in your dream state, you will see plants, you will see animals, you will see rocks and mountains. So that is because all these realities have access to astral reality. But once you cross over astral reality, you will not see the lower realities in participation at that level, at the causal level. When a person is caught up in the cycles of life and death, after death he moves to the astral realities and then he again waits for his next lifetime as a human and then he again returns. So while he is in the human body, he visits the astral reality many times. That is, in between lifetimes, during the dream states and during the out of body astral visitation states, he comes into contact with the astral realities. Now, once the person creates a light body for himself, then he will move beyond the cycle of life and death. And that is when he just moves into the causal reality. So, to move into the causal reality, he should have had activated his light body. And once somebody moves into the causal reality, they are beyond the cycles of life and death. They are liberated. On the right side, you will see an image. This image is showing the various chakras we have. You all are aware of the seven chakras that start at Muladhara at the spine till the Sahasrara, which are seven in number. But below our waist, we have seven more chakras. These are the lower astral chakras, or these chakras are active in animals, right? That is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Tala Tala, Rasatala, Mahatala, and Patala. So animals have these lower seven chakras. The Mooladhara chakra, which is the lowest chakra for a human, is the highest chakra in an animal. That is, it's like the Sahasrara chakra of an animal. So when an animal comes into contact with a human, stays with a human, the Mooladhara chakra of the animal opens up. When the Mooladhara chakra of the animals opens up, the next lifetime is a human lifetime. Now, these lower planes of existence, these are very uh, denser in emotions like greed, uh, anger, destruction, chaos, uh, jealousy, murders, and these are even homes to lower astral beings. Many experience attacks from lower astral entities. So the lower astral entities come from these lower astral planes, and these are represented from your below waist, from your waist till your feet. So the Atala chakra exists below the Muladhara chakra. So after the Atala chakra, you have the Muladhara chakra. So once the Muladhara chakra opens in an animal, it becomes next lifetime it becomes a human. And while living as a human, it lives as a human till its Sahasrara chakra is open. Once Sahasrara chakra opens, then the light body gets created. And Sahasrara chakra is the lowest center of the light body. It is like the Muladhara of the light body. So when we look at these lower animalistic chakras in our body, it is pointed to the fact that we have evolved from animals, and we still carry that chakras within our system as a reminder. Now, look at the next slide here. You can see the embryos of various animals. The first is the fish. Next is a salamander, tortoise, chicken, pig, cow, rabbit, and the last one is the human. If you look at these embryos very closely, you will notice that initially you cannot differentiate a human embryo. If you look at the top row, the human embryo is the last right embryo, and the fish embryo is the first left embryo. So if you look at all the middle embryos, they all belong to animals, and they look very similar when they are conceived in the initial states of embryo development. Even in the later stage too, you will see that the human embryo resembles the rabbit's embryo, the cow, and the pig's embryo very closely. It is only much later in the fetal development that you can see that it looks like a human embryo or like a human being. So all this only strengthens the fact that we all have evolved from the lower animal realities. Every human has a two-strand physical DNA, that is one from the mother and one from the father. Apart from that, we have a 10-strand light-based DNA. While this Kundalini process is happening, these 10 light-based DNA get activated. And once this 10 light-based DNA get activated, the light body is completed. And once the light body is completed, the person has higher intelligences, higher psychic abilities, and then he has access to the causal planes. And this person can move around without a physical body, and he can even visit earth and other dimensions using this light body. And this person has gone beyond the cycles of life and death. In many of the spiritual books, you will always see people mentioning masters who have light bodies, who have come and who have initiated them into higher spiritual initiations. Now, these are these kinds of beings who have, from human, they have moved into the light body, and because they have higher abilities and they feel the need, the urge to help other humans to evolve further on the spiritual path, when they see that the person is striving on the spiritual path, they come down and they help this person by initiating that person into higher planes of existence. For example, I don't have a guru, And for somebody to cross the Agya Chakra, you need a guru. The energy with our own effort will only reach this position. It cannot go beyond that. To go beyond that, you need the blessings of the Kundalini goddess, or you need a guru who can do it for you. But because I did not have a guru, light being initiated me while in a dream state and opened my chakra here, the Agya chakra, and allowed the energy to move up into the brain. So it was the light being who helped me evolve in my process. Our life does not start with the birth of this physical body, and it does not end with the death of this physical body. We have had many millions of lifetimes as a mineral, plant, animal, and human. And we will be born even further until unless we culminate this beautiful experience, this human experience, into a divine. If once the quality of your experience changes, it becomes more divine in expression. You become the instrument of the divine. You are just facilitating the construction of your light body. It becomes much easier. I wish you all best of luck on your spiritual path. Thank you.